Hello, this is a re-recording of my final project. I was not aware that my VPN was open to access home pages, so it affected the recording. I asked Professor Botsyole, and she said I can record a new video that's clear and leave a comment. So I just wanted to show that I had her approval to go ahead and do this. So I will go over the rubric and then compare it to my final to show how I was able to accomplish these things. So number of pages, 5 to 8 pages. All pages are published to the web. On our home pages site, we have home, France, Ireland, Lithuania, Poland, Turkey. So that is 6 sites total. That meets the requirement. Page content. Each page must contain appropriate text, images, and provide information of value to the target audience. So this is a little harder. You have to actually read through it, but to show anything, if anything, I spent a lot of time on the content. Here is 7 pages worth of content, and so it's just general history of Lithuania, and it just goes by each section. So yeah, here's the proof of my content. There's no like illum ipsums in there. Yeah, I wrote all of this by hand, and I've not edited it since yesterday when it was due. So section 508 compliance basically is easily accessible to those with disabilities. Um, just all these things that we learned in class. So these were taken in mind when designing the website. Everything is very simple. Everything is very clearly a hyperlink when you need to click on it. It changes color when it hovers. This one is like underlined to make it pretty obvious. And yeah, so the site is very easy to operate, made it very simple to understand, and we have pictures alongside it. So for the table, I use that in Turkey. They have kind of a complicated history with how they were developed. So I kind of showed the fall of the Byzantine Empire into the Ottoman Empire, the slow decline when they started the revolution and when they achieved sovereignty. So that is the table. An audio file, I use that for my favorite place in Poland, which was Krakow. I used it on the Wow Dragon, and the hyperlink works. See if I can show it. It's just a little flame that comes out of it. It's really cool. Yeah, the video works. Um, email link. I just do that at the bottom. Just halseyjd at mail@uc.com, or .edu. I just figured that was the easiest. Link to an external site. So I actually did this as my works cited. I just figured it'd be pretty cool just to do about the website, just to show all the works I've been using. I used a lot of my previous history, but there's a few things I was a little shy on because I was in Europe when I was in kindergarten through about 4th grade. So I definitely remember a lot, but it wasn't crystal clear, so I had to use that for a little bit. And then we have the form. For the form, I use that for Ireland. Dublin, Ohio has the biggest Irish Fest. So if you would like to receive any information about the Irish Fest, please enter your correct information or contact information below. So we have the first name, last name, email, and then this is not required. Just any other like additional questions or concerns, just because most people do. So I figured that'd be an appropriate place to put that on the Ireland website. And then meta tags, titles, and favicons. So each of these change. The title changes. The meta tags, I don't have my actual code up, but it was used a meta char set, so meta tags were used. And then finally for the favicons, I was not able to get it to work for home pages. I'm not sure what the issue was. When I opened the HTML file itself, I was able to program it correctly, but I know this does not count since it does not work on the home pages, but I at least made an attempt, so there's that. Um, Visual appeal is visually appealing, contrast, image placement, resolution, font, proximity. So a few of these things, I really liked the look of the left, then right, then left. I thought that scrolls down really well. I have the pictures right next to it, and I have it floating right next to it, so you can read it and then just see it. I even did some cool things with the font. It's like about the website. This is in a different font color. It makes it stand out a little bit more. And some other cool things is I was able to I changed all of these individually for each website. So for instance, it's white because that's the color scheme of this one, but if we were to go to France, all of them are blue and they turn to red, and then so on and so forth. I did that for every single one. So that's just a cool little thing that I was able to throw in there. And yeah, so another thing I also did to try to make the website look good is I used each country's respective colors as their theme with a tan background because I didn't think the white looked good, but I thought the tan was a solid just background that worked with all the colors and something I could keep consistent throughout the website. Because we don't want the websites to change too much. We want some familiarity. So yes. What else? HTML validation. So I actually used a few more CS pages than I would have needed to, but here is all of them. This is submitted with the final, so you should be able to look through that. Class presentation, it's well organized. I've been going through each individually, shows each requirement, which I've done. Clearly and completely describes the purpose and design of each pages, which I was able to do. Clearly and completely discusses challenges encountered and how they were overcome. So a few challenges of the website was initially, well, obviously the favicon, and I was not able to figure that out. That was an issue. Another issue that I had with the website, it was simply just trying to make each website different, even though I wanted to cover the same sort of things. And I was ultimately able to accomplish that with changing colors. It gives each website its own little feel, um, even if it's all the same general like color scheme. And then, so I also have to show some criticisms and how I responded to it. So one of the criticisms I had is that they should be a little bit more subtle, a little easier on the eyes. And they said to change the tan background, but I personally like the tan background a little too much. I thought it looked way better than the white. I think it does work well with most of these colors. And then with that, he also said color changes, which I ended up doing. I ended up making them a little bit more subtle colors. As I mentioned earlier, this is a much brighter website, or much brighter color. Then we have a cooler one here. And this is something I just do for most of these. And it's really not too hard on the eyes. The only one that I think is a little hard on the eyes is this red one. But I really like red on white, even though I know some don't. So I chose to keep it. Copyrighted images, citations. So I showed you my work cited. So that shows all of this has been cited. And so something I did was I used every single image is protected under the Creative Commons license image. And I put it here, but I figured that wouldn't be enough. So I decided to put it at the bottom of every single page. So every single page has all images are creative and just all of them have this just to show. So that goes back to a few challenges. One of the challenges was putting the caption underneath it to cite it. It was simply too difficult. It would place like right here. I didn't like the way it looked. So the way I ended up accomplishing this is I just put it at the bottom of every single website just to make it a little bit easier on myself. And then, yeah, so that is my presentation. I hope you're doing well. And as it's shown, I was able to accomplish just about everything other than the favicon, but I was able to accomplish for the HTML. So, yeah, that is my presentation. Have a nice day.